Good day. I'm here because I'm confused. Right now, I'm not exactly into my work at all. I am having trouble thinking. I have not smoked a joint all day, and unless I take more medication, I will not be able to relax enough. The thing is, with the medication, okay, there's two faults to it. If there's not enough, I get a little bit of the jitters, not only because I just can't handle the day, okay, because it's continued on, and I have that the compulsive addictive sort of habit, but we all sort of have it, okay, unless we know there's a source in us that can reduce it. We're always going to have it. And in order to create that source, and I'm probably going to forget what I already said, I'm just going to continue on. In order to create that force, you have to create a higher source. Now, if the higher source is yourself, then well, and you feel guilty to your egotistical self. But if you let the Christ into your life, okay, it's completely different. The Christ is a knowledge, it is a position, it is a world all in its own. It has its own laws and rules and regulations that most of the people, even the religious people, just don't understand. They don't get it. It's not all about them and what they do and what happens to them or their family, because it continues on. I do it, you do it, they do it, we all do it. Now it's in the news, we're all doing it. Terrible thing. But if we would pay attention to something that's a little higher, and we'd all use the same judgment, thou shalt not kill. Isn't that a pretty good one? You don't have to say I'm going to pray to one God, even though that's the first one. Thou shalt not kill. I don't kill, you don't kill, no one kills, no one's dead. We still die at the end anyways, but it's part of the game. Now the question comes in, who's the one that's going to make up all these rules? There's 10 basic laws of logic, okay? The zero, okay, which can be looked at as many things, okay? If you look at something and it looks like a zero, it can be a can. It can be the top of this. Something comes out of it, okay? That's your one spirit that comes out of that. That's your two, that's your three, that's your four. It's all in a bottle. I'm made of water. How many of these can I fill up with me before there's nothing left but dust? Isn't that the way it works at the end? To remove all the water, there's only dust. Well, forget about the bones, okay? But if you dehydrate completely the bones, then what are they actually holding together with? You see, I can say this. I work with firewood, and we dehydrate our firewood by removing most of the water. And even when we remove all the water, there's still a tree. So I'm still going to have the elements of earth because I am the sea, Christ. Now, one of the things I'm going to get into, and I wasn't even going to get into any of this, and I'm not going to get into this yet, but I'm going to write this down so I don't miss anything. I'm going to jump off. I'm probably going to forget, but don't worry. My mother calls me, you want to go for supper. I'll tell you one thing. For some reason, if I don't go to supper with my mother, I'm not respecting God. She's my creator. Her father was her creator. So you always have to remember there was one before you. And you're not you unless you came from an area. Okay. Now, if you don't have any parents and you're an orphan child, well, let me tell you one thing. We're not sure where we're going. They say there's a God. There's a God. Then who are we if our Father's not going to take us home? There must be something higher. Because we're all the orphans. We all have no father. And we have no mother. But in all actuality, we carry the Father's name because we came out of the mother. So this is the mother. Hello, I was in my mother's egg. And that egg grew and it became a big egg. It was like a water ball. And then the water broke. I didn't see it break. Maybe a little hole in it. It wasn't the water that broke. It was the sheathing that broke. Water breaks. I didn't know water can break. Well, it sort of falls down and it breaks in the ocean. But the water doesn't actually break at all. In fact, I came home today, and if I didn't use my brakes, I would have hit everybody in front of me. Whoa. So what are we going to get to? I was looking at the Yucatan Peninsula. We're going to get back to my mother. She said, okay, doll. I'm like going, I ran to the mirror after I said, Ma, I love you. I said, I'll be there. I'll bring my son with me. I ran into the bathroom. I said, am I a doll? What kind of doll am I? Am I like Pinocchio because I'm a Jew and I got a big nose? And they're just, the marionette is on the top. Whatever the brain of somebody else's creation flows through a screen, through the newspapers, and eventually over to you. Who are you? You become what you see. You become what you hear. Then you start to believe, and then your trust goes on what you believe. It becomes on what you see, what you hear, and now what you believe, and where your trust is going to go. Now, of course, yes, we all know that of course, everybody knows that the leading problem to death in this world is God. He told us we come into this world, he takes us out. So if he is taking us out, okay, he takes it in a really funny way. And if he didn't take it this way, we wouldn't be able to have that door that would show what love is, to actually have somebody else, a wife and a child. You're blocked into this world. Your only thing is your family and then everybody around you and what you do. God takes you out, but he takes you away from your family, and then everybody misses you. But it's supposed to be that way because it makes the entire conscience move. We have oval heads, round heads, whatever you want. This head is just like the universe, and it's got to be like the universe. It's got to know when you don't love, no one's going to be there. And when you do love, you're worrying about something, somebody is there. They're in your heart, they're in your mind. They're in a better understanding of the logical life. So my mother called me doll, and then I was thinking, I'm looking, LL, and I'm thinking lava life, which means to wash one's life, is a doll. Or if it's to wash, if you're washing your one's life for cleanliness, okay, wash, wish, there's one more word that goes in there, watch. Not only for that, because the minute you mention watch, at the end of watch, it starts off with a W, number 23rd letter, with an A next to it, Beta Creation Angel. 231. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1. Okay? The angel, W-A-T, okay? And you can use the T as either one of two things, okay? Because what the T is actually made for is it connects here and it connects here. This here, okay, is Jupiter. Right here. Red dot. Is it Jupiter? That's what my question is. Remember I told you God's crooked, he's on an angle. Is his dice or world sitting this way? Or is his world sitting this way? It's sitting this way because in this position, the triangle at the top should actually be in the 2 position. But it's just a square moved over, so it was at the 1 position is now in the 2 position. And that's the way the world goes. And then you have this line, and then you have this line. Then you have this line, and then you have this line. Alpha, alpha creation. Beta, beta 2, Venus. Excuse me, this is beta 2, Venus and Neptune. Whoop! There's Jupiter. We'll close her up. Maybe we're inside Jupiter. I don't know. Tell me if there's a red dot. You see the red dot? Could be in Jupiter. Know what I'm saying? I think that I have created all these squares, right? So we're this one planet, but in this huge page I have, we're 1 dot in the center. Our whole solar system is 1 dot here. How do you know Earth is not sitting in Earth and all the planets? Okay, or at least 1, 2 of them. How do we know they're not sitting inside Jupiter? Okay, doesn't make any sense to me. But I still can have that on my thought. I still think that the pig's nose represents when the pig is lying down, Venus and Neptune, and when the pig is standing up, Mars and Saturn. But if you look in the middle of the pig's nose, actually, over here, it's empty. Okay, so from here to here, it's empty. Now, it's not a nose like any other nose. Okay, it's special. And so is the elephant. Okay, but the elephant seems to have toes. So there's a completely different story. And the elephant is bluish gray. Okay, I've seen some funny colored pigs. But anyways, so now when you take, I'm going to show you, I'm going to try and draw this so you would see it. And I'm going to just I'm going to show you first. See, there's nothing in the center here. I'm going to show you something. That's the empty space. Okay? Pretty much looks like the lines of Saturn to me somehow. But anyways, you know what I'm saying? The more things you can get out of one situation. I told you, and I asked you, and I said to you, but I don't want to pressure you, that when we do a search for two, or too much, or too little, or two for me and two for you, two, and two, and different ways to say that, there's more ways to spell it, and they spell it because it means more things. So in the dictionary, they got to write more definitions. Oh, it means this, but it's a synonym, or a synonym, or but it has to go in the thesaurus now. You see, they don't just do one thing with the words. They're constantly add ER, RE, add ING, add ED. So you're always constantly adding and taking away for further expression. So why wouldn't the original words come out for further expression when it all began? And I'm lucky, because I started at 0. Well, you see, if you were -1, you're not actually -1. There's no such thing as really a -1. It's a counterbalance, okay? But when an angel is in the heavens world, he's not -1. But in this world, he's +1. Man is -1 because he's not really here. So he starts off at -1. That's why man 6 is -1 equals 5. Or he can start off as V for life and one spirit to the right. One spirit he gets to go to the left, because our minds, as far as I know, today I came up with that our minds must be passing through Jupiter. And Jupiter has all these moons because it runs around the other planets and it picks up the information. Nothing comes from Mercury. It comes from Pluto and then over to Neptune. And Venus has no moon. So Neptune is the one who does the moons. Why? Because Neptune is the short ears of the cat. It's the downsize of the negative return of the high and low blood pressure. I'm not sure how everything works. I am very close. I can't pinpoint it, and if I could pinpoint it, maybe the way I explain it is not fulfilling the needs for your better understanding. And this whole thing is about the better understanding of how you understand me. This is not to say you're an idiot. I don't want anybody to come here and say you're an idiot, you're this. This is not an idiot thing. This is a build. We're building a puzzle here. We're writing a little book to see how we went together in the future. If I can collect all my cassettes, this is my 966th or 67th video that I'm making right now. And I have changed from the beginning to now. I never saw actually what I see now as what I saw at the beginning, but I actually do. It's just that I'm able to speak about now from what I did at the beginning, because I see what I mean. I listen to some of my tapes, I hear what I say, and I study what I say. And I don't always get it right because I'm not looking for right or wrong sometimes. It is what it is. Hypothesis, generalization, I don't know. It just might be. It could be. Was it? Could it? Doesn't matter. Don't you remember what I said at the beginning? I'm just going to go on and I'm going to be lost and lost and lost. Anyways, my mother called me doll, and if you create the doll, okay, with the angel, okay, Mars angel to Jupiter mind, man to Jupiter mind, makes a crossing, passes two sides, because when you have tic-tac-toe, there's two lines. One has to pass this way, one has to pass this way. Are you following me? And what does that do? It creates two crosses of Christ, okay? But the only one that means anything, okay, let me write this down. cross of Christ, upside down, cross of Christ, cross of Christ. If it was going this way, cross of Christ. It's going that way, cross of Christ, or it's 11:11. But you see what we have over here? Now watch what I'm going to do next. Well, look down at the paper. I don't have to move the camera. Just get closer to your video screen and look down. Oh, no, don't. Don't go closer to your video camera. I'm naked. Don't. I swear. No. I don't want to have to shut the video off. Don't make me sweat, please. Oh, shit. I must be an idiot. I have to move the camera. You can't move my camera. In fact, you're not even watching me now. You don't even know I'm making this video. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to show you. The same thing I showed you on the pig's nose. And I'm going to show you that back again because I forgot to show you the pig's nose. I'm going to show you something with that pig's nose. Watch this. You see, this is the pig nose. It looks like, you know, when you go in the ocean, you throw the anchor in. Well, this would be the anchor. Okay, and then it looks like two J's, and then it looks like a half a C, and there's a D over here, and then there's two O's. And if you go 3/4 of the way around, because there has to be one out. There's one out for man out. So that's what creates the G. What creates the G is when you go around from here and you have to stop over here, and then you make the G letter stand so man can sit on that G in Saturn. This creates also the letter I and the letter H. It's also used to open up hidden, what do you call it? Can't remember the name. Anyways, it's a double D. It's a double D, okay? The other thing I wanted to show you now, you see the line? Now, usually I tell you I have to follow the lines for everything, right? But not in this scenario. When you're connecting numbers, these lines, okay, are in a fixed position. This one over here is 1 because it's exactly, and it's this one here, which is the energy of Christ, okay, and it does that. See this line and this line? That's the beta world energy of Christ. This is what you can call life. Why I would call this life is it's 2 and 2. Here's one line, and here's two lines, 2 and 2, 4. Here it's 2 and 3 because this 6, right, and this 4 were created by this 3 over here. How does this 3 work to both of them? Well, because 1 is here, 3 is here. This is the Spirit of God. This is the creation of man from 7 Uranus. This one is upside down to this one, and this one's upside down to this one. If you follow, you follow. So here would be 3. So on a dice, the opposites of 3 is 4, and 3 is 7. And because 3 is opposite of 7 down here, 1 is over here to 6, and that's 7. And that's what makes up the beta creation number 23 and number 22 of life. And if you add 22 and 23 together, that's 45. It's the number of the fox. 54 is the number of love because you both came together. Now the angel and man is the only way the Spirit of God can create that cross. Because without the Spirit of God, you ain't got those straight lines going through. So what happens now in Urantia world that everybody talks about, okay, I'm not doing it the way it should be done, but these are added on. These are confined areas of electronics. One up here, one down here. It's constantly going around, and they all suck under here. Okay, they all suck down under here to where Neptune is. Okay, that's why 7, 8, and 9 really aren't partake in anything, because the 7 is the God, right, of creation. It's also the gates of creation. Okay, which, and the reason they say it is because the 7 and the 3 go together to make a 10. If that 7 is not their God, to that 3, there is no nothing. Secondly, the 7, if you look at the 7 card, that spirit is not in the 5 hole on that 7 card. Neither it is on the 8 card. It seems like, okay, that's a female, the 7 and the 8. Okay, again, 7 and 8, October and September. You understand what I'm saying? Where the dots are. But okay, I have to recheck and recheck and recheck those cards because what happens is the cards, every card shows different levels and has different values. And there's 3 levels, 1, 2, 3 levels, and in the 3 levels there's a 4th level, 10, 20, 30, 40 in what do you call it? Anyways, whatever it is, even the scores in tennis, Monopoly, in any game you want to bring out, I can show you anything. It might take me time to figure it out. Another thing I wanted to show you is, why is the number of Christ 33? Well, or I make that up. Well, that's my number. The reason the number of Christ is 33 is because the Christ is an energy that is created from 2 worlds, and they bring the 2 worlds together. And one of the reasons they have the 7 is because this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4 is 7, 3, 4 is 7. This goes on top of this and creates 68. 68. It's upside down, but this is 68. Why does this create 68? Because you end up with the 6 points, okay? But you do not end up with anything else. You do not have this dot in here, okay? Now what you want, if you want, we put that dot next into there. I'm going to do this up here. 1 second. And voila. Now we have 6 triangles. Okay, 6 points. That's 12. Okay, plus the dot is 13. And that's the Spirit of God. You follow me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, plus the points. Everything counts. This counts. They all count. There's more in here than you can actually see. This is 3 and 3. 3 and 3 is Christ. Now, number 4 and 4, when you put them together, S-P-A-C-E, space. Spirit. P is the 1-6, the 1 spirit of the 6th man. Angel, creation, electronics, space. Total value, 44. Total value of Christ, 33. Total, 77. C3, H8 equals 11. R, 29. I, 38. S, 48, 57. And T, 67, 77. Do you know what I just spelt? Christ. Pretty funny the way he comes out where 2 worlds are 6.1, 6.1, or 7.7. Why I separate is because it's 2 worlds, but I'm explaining 2 explanations in the same equation. So there's so many things. It's insane. It's just insane. And the pig, I did the pig, but I sort of made a little mistake. The reason I said he's an animal because he shows all the elements, but he's really actually showing. I'm going to explain it how I didn't explain before. It's the 16th letter. It's the 1 dice that fits in the center on the 6 dice. The 9 is the birth for this and the creation of it. 7, G, God's creation, Uranus, the counterpart to it. So if this counters this, if Uranus keeps countering Earth, then I am completely wrong and we are on Earth. But Earth is red. And I think that our life is black. That's the way it is. Red is on fire. Red is dangerous. We're in an orange world, a caution world, a yellow world, a red spirit world. The way the sun gets its color. Okay. Is there a God out there? Start at the very beginning. Let me tell you one thing. I'd like to know why I can do what I do. I don't know if anybody ever has understood anything that I have done since day 1. But irrelevant to the fact, I'm asking what I see. Can I do what I do without a God? Of course I could. But because I know there's a God, I mean, it's just more intriguing. Oh my God, I'm going to find him. I'm going to find him. Or I'm going to find how he did it or what he did or what numbers he used. I'm going to find something. So it gives me something to do. And at the same time while doing this, because I really still, there's a God. Where the hell is God? Hell. We're in hell right now. Because we have to live, okay? If we do this, it goes like this. We do this, we do this. So how can we not be in hell? You know what I'm saying? If we know what it is to be rich, do we know what it is to be poor? But when you're poor, do you know what it is to be rich? Just one is poor, one is rich. Do they really know anything of each other? One's up here, one's down there. What do they know? What do you know? So I keep on going. God has got to, if it's not real, if it's real, I'm trying to base certain things in my life, the way I do things on, well, with you guys. Also, I of course, inform it into my life. I try not to do, I'll go over the border a little bit, but I try not to get in anybody else's way. Unless there has to be a correction made. Sometimes some of us have to make corrections for other people. Is it part of us? You know what? Sometimes it just has to be done. It's a crazy thing that people just won't say, oh my God, I must have made a mistake. I'll try and fix it next time. No. Somebody next door to me last winter told me to move my car because I was in his driveway. But that side of his driveway was rented to my friend, and I parked there. He wanted me to move my car. Why? Because he has a truck that he puts in the driveway that sticks out onto the street. There's hardly any parking. He's luckier than an ass that he doesn't get a ticket. He wouldn't move it back. His wife wanted to get out. He wanted me to move my car for his wife because he was too damn lazy to move his truck. Then after I screamed at him 10 times, why did I scream at him? Because I'm in my pajamas at 8 o'clock in the morning and it's minus 20 outside. I said, listen, bud. I said, you got to do what you got to do, but I can't move my car. I'm busy and I'm going back to bed. And whether I was right or wrong, it would have been just as easier as getting up, move the car and saying, shit. I just move the car and don't say anything. Just move the car and don't say anything. He's going to think you're a nice guy. Eventually, maybe he won't want to bother you to move the car anymore, and he'll know he's a fool, and he'll move it himself. So certain things like that, we all seem to misunderstand. I mean, I used to go to a place and go, you're charging me $1.65 for a chocolate bar? I pay $1.45 for a liter of gas. You think I'm going to pay that price? So I'm fighting with all these people who don't own the places. But I've changed my standards. And today it's just workers and they don't notice. But there was a place I used to go to. And I went a lot. And all of a sudden, boom, I stopped going. Showed up the odd time when I knew the manager was there. Hey, don't see you very often anymore. I go, no, I buy my stuff at the Metro. The prices are a little too high here. That's all I said. That was it. He was so nice to me after. You know, the problem with this story is, it's 30 years old or 40 years old. This story is about 10 years old at the time. And I don't remember exactly what it was that I was looking at or the whole situation, but I just made up a similar situation to what I've done in the future also. So anyways, we got the Christ. I told you about the other thing I got to with the Christ thing. The reason I told you, my mother called me a doll. And if you ever watch Reboot, hey, Dot, calling Dot, you crossed the L's with this. Because L is a life and L is a life. You crossed over the two L's, you connected the two lives. Now the emptiness that's in there, that's Jupiter. That must be the reason that there's Jews in this world, and that means we're all Jews. If all our minds are on Jupiter, then we're all Jew pater. But does anybody know what it means, the rest of that word? It's French for meaning earth. Jewish earth. That's the name of that planet. But don't worry, because Iran can also be looked at as si senor, Iranian, Mediterranean. So you follow all those terminologies and see where they add the neons or the neon lights of Las Vegas. You know what I'm saying? Neon lights of Las Vegas, light it up. Iranians, light it up, light up the sky, bombs bursting in air. It's almost like a story that they're supposed to go into your Iran because their name is Iran and it sort of figures out to be in the lost land of Vegas. So I'm not saying anything against anybody. I'm just saying maybe that was a past term that was used. Iran, it means C, it means 15 and 51. Because anything starts with an I. Okay? Excuse me. I wasn't talking, was I talking about Iran? I think I made a mistake. S-I-S, Islam. That's what I was thinking. Sorry, it was Islam. That's what it was. Something about Islam that gets the song about bombs bursting in air. What Islam is instead of I-S, like Israel and Islam, they're two specifics. They start with I-S, is, see. Is, see. I'm not asking the whole question, but this is God, see. This is God, see. God, to me, is the gates, okay, of the cross that connect this side to this side. And how do they do it? 1937 on your telephone? Railroad crossing, choo, choo, railroad crossing. Yeah. So we did that. I just saw a word here, bonnet, B-O-N-N-E-T. In French, that means a good network. It also means 10, T-E-N. Now, B-O-N would be 2, 17, 31. Creation of 10. This is beta, creation of 10. O-N-N-O. When N-O-O-N-N-O. How would you look at that? On, off. Well, you went this way and you went that way. Didn't change the word, just changed it around. First you said it that way, then you said it that way. Because if you're turning one on this side, you're turning it off on that side. The angel's on that side, the man's on that side. They fluctuate together, you know what I'm saying? I mean, just like pi. I love this word pi because I've designed so many things that just keep recreating the number. 3 of creation of the one spirit of the 4 angel, and then the one spirit, 3.145 of the one spirit angle. And the reason I say this is because I found something on the dice that we don't need to do anything to the originality of the 5. It gets influxed with the 2, which is the original corners of the one spirit. Well, I'll just say Mercury and Pluto, or I'll turn it this way and it'll be Earth and Uranus. So when you do that, it doubles up. Mercury has 2, Earth has 2, Pluto has 2, and Uranus has 2, but not at the same time. See, that's the thing when we're doing numbers. You have the complete equation. You can go 8 directions in this world, and in between every single one. And if you went directly in between every single one, do you know what the answer is? 22.5. Life of an angel, life of a spirit angel. The spirit is right in the center here. How does that spirit become alive? That 5 goes into here. It's the 5 that ends up creating that 2. Did you know what I'm saying? God, okay, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It all stops on 6. The rest of it has to do with the joining of the 2 worlds. And one of the things for that is, have somebody, okay, I'm not sure if I'm going to do it right. There's so many ways to do it. I throw out so much paper. But let's say you're playing with your 3 dice. What you do, if I can get this right, if I can ever get this right, see that dice there? This dice goes over. It takes up 1 dot on the top dice, and it'll take up, can I show you this? No, I got to make this lower. Oh, I'm so bad. So bad. Something like this. It'll take up part on the top and part on the bottom. Now you have 1, 2, 3. 1 here, 2 here, 2 here, 2, 1, 2, 212. 212 is 91 plus 121, which is the spirit, 91, which is April 1st, and this year it fell 1 day before. And 121 is 11 by 11. It falls on May 1st every single year for 3 years, except for this year when it falls on the 30th of this month. Another thing about today, I hope I didn't mix you up to what I was going to tell you. Anyways, the 121 is the Illuminati. I don't want to mess you up, but today is the day of Jack, the angle of Jack in the year of beta creation. This is the year things happen. It's an odd number. It's 3. Okay. In 2001, it was an odd number. Okay. But in 2011, it's an even number. I didn't say if it can be paired up or divided. And don't forget, 11 is a perfect number. Did you know 11 is a perfect number? Because if I take 11 and split it in half and put 55 on top of each other, I get 1010. Can you figure that one out? Tell me what I said again. I don't remember. Okay, so all these, they overlap, but there's only 3 dice here. Do you know how many we need? Holy shit. We can definitely recreate our this is what I'm thinking. I think we can recreate our entire solar system with a bunch of dice. Probably need 100,000 or so dice. Maybe not even. Nah, maybe a few thousand dice. Another thing I was going to mention, you ever see the Egyptians with the point on their head? You ever hear that golden egg? Well, if you ever look at your keyboard, the O0 stands up like an egg this way, the same way the hat. An egg has to lie down. It can't stand up unless the spirit inside stands it up. So whoever's wearing the egghead shape, he's the spirit within the cone, because it's his mind that goes to a peak. Goes to a peak. Don't peek on me. Okay, so yeah, the Arabs, when they were wearing that cone, 100%, that's definitely. Did I tell you to think about Egypt and the pig? Egypt is very strong. Egypt, just EG, it says egg, okay? Or EG, the EG machine, whatever they do with it, the pump, the heart rate, whatever that EG machine, it's the first 2 letters of Egypt, you know. So don't blank out. Don't you blank out. You'd like a color on here? Whatever color you like will make every other color turn. So because you don't like a color, that you don't like a country and you don't like a color or somebody's face, it's still going to be here until you destroy it in your mind, until everybody around you starts to walk away, until the cube is not. It's not. It's done. We are one whole society. It's easy to get along. The major stuff right now, it's all governmental. Whoever wants to blow us up, let's see how they're coming to blow us up, the truth, and we'll fix it up. But to send 100,000, and just forget about, don't just think of the U.S. It's not only the U.S. Because the U.S. deploys all these people, every other nation starts to deploy people. So if you think it starts on one side, it definitely does not. And then whoever gets to spend the money, who's making all the profit? Why is the government heavily invested in arms? How are you invested in war? When you shoot a bullet, you don't pick it up off the floor and bring it back, do you? You barely pick up the dead body and bring it back. Anyways, we're going to leave it at this. I'm going to take this off for a second just to show you the eye on my picture. Can I get this closer? How do I make this go closer? Just 1 second. I'm looking for something. Logitech Video HD. Let me see. Anyways, take a look at the eye. Do you see the eye? You see the red eye? See all the eyes and all the birds? Well, there's a bird on the top left-hand side, and that is the pharaoh bird. And inside of it, I wrote Anachi. Okay? And if you can see in the bottom left-hand corner, I mean in the middle there, there's a little orange. Okay? It's supposed to be pool balls. All the eyes are supposed to be pool balls. And every pool ball and every color stands for a number. Because that's basically what it is. We just need a whole lot of pockets here to put, we'll put this, you ever play Othello? Is it Othello? The game with the little marbles, and you put one here and one here until it creates a creation or a star or something. Anyways, I've gone long enough. I've said enough. My name is Raphael. Do I have more? Oh my God. I'm so nervous. I can't believe I did this. I didn't smoke or anything. Well, I had a cigarette, but wow, I made it through it. I made it through one video. That's all I wanted to do was one video. So to end it off, what do I look at? How do I see the world? Well, the only one actually speaking of the truth in this world, and you know, I do verify certain things. I mean, I've listened to Ron Paul. Ron Paul, oh my God, that guy is only speaking the truth. He has no reason to lie. while the other guy has nobody there. He smiles. He looks like a jerk. Oh my God. Born with a silver spoon in his mouth. You see, now we got silver and gold. You're not supposed to pray to the gold because somehow, I think in general, okay, I used to say it was man's mind, the gold, but I think it's because gold is pliable and so is man's mind in general, that we're the gold. We're the golden children. We're the orphans. We're God's gem. That letter F with 2 dashes in it, which cuts through as 11, is also reflected if you turn the line sideways as a dollar sign. We are worth something to the Lord. Are you? Raphael 7286.